the studio. You can see Barrister in the studio. You can see me live, from your phone. Please join us on. Make sure that you're prepared, you're ready. Barrister, are we good?
Yes, we are sorted now. We're up.
We're up and running.
Yes, on the Instagram. That was what I was trying to fix.
Mm.
Now, we were talking about the protest. Let me just drop one bomb. I was just surprised, as a lawyer, to find out that the court would say something like, you cannot protest here, you cannot protest there, when the Constitution guarantees that you can protest. So now the court is ruling against the Constitution, and that tells you that the Constitution is above the ruling of a judge, a High Court judge, not even a Supreme Court judge. So how can the court be ruling against the Constitution that made you a judge? You cannot rule. So it was just a funny, that cannot stand.
The way it was, I think in a sense, so to speak, they have there can be adjustments made in some instances because of the threats of violence. So
that is a police issue, that is their job to make sure that there is no violence. As we are living here, there's stealings, there's kidnappings, would we say now we pass a law that you cannot pass this road because of? Let's leave.
Is this what I wanted to ask you? Why you?
That thing was just I was in Ojota, and it is well. So we move today again to social manipulation. If you remember, I was talking about manipulations, and I defined manipulation, the word manipulate, as to control or influence something or someone so that you get an advantage, often dishonestly. So in order to manipulate, there must be a manipulator. And the issue here about manipulation is that the essence of manipulation is to control people to your advantage. It is to skillfully control events, situations, or people. And the objective is to influence a person, to control them in a certain way, to sway their emotions or get them to act or feel a certain way. And I have told you that the opposite of manipulation is truth. So if you know the truth, manipulation would be impossible. If you know the truth, manipulation would be impossible. That is why knowledge is key. There is a saying that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So today, the social manipulation we will be talking about is called parents. Parents. Now, there is a thing of culture and tradition that we must understand. The culture and traditions of a people have become an issue of concern, as is the religion, both of which are man-made and are basically a means to control or influence people. Whatever seeks to control or influence is treading on the paths of manipulation, because that means at all means you want to get what you want. Now, parents over the years have exerted enormous influence on our lives, our decisions, opportunities, and the choices that the children make, such that in a society, for one to be successful, the name and influence of the family they come from is one of the first considerations. They would ask, what is your name, or who is your father? Or then the character of your father would determine also how far he would push you. So the influence of family, father and mother, is also almost 50% of your success in life. It is determined by the kind of family you come from, which basically, again, is your father or your mother. Now, what is the connection between parents in your relationships, in your marriages? Now, in 2022, we conducted a research into society, and we found that 39% of failed marriages had parental interference. meaning 39% of toxic marriages, separations, and divorces had parental influence, 9% by fathers in law, and 30% by mothers in law. Now, who is a parent? Oxford describes a parent as a person's father or mother. A father is described as the male parent or the cause of a pregnancy resulting in the birth of a child, or a man in relation to his children. That is father. Number one, the male parent. Number two, the cause of a pregnancy resulting in childbirth. And number three, in relation to his child or children. Now, what is the definition of a mother? Defined as a female parent, a woman in relation to her child, or the one who has born an offspring. So, the definition of the word parent is father, mother, or ancestor. That is where you come from. Now, when a child grows and leaves to form his own family, the father of a child becomes father-in-law and the mother becomes mother-in-law. Now, let us not take some things for granted here. I will try to explain. The word parent, meaning father or mother, is also described in three ways. To become a parent, you can give birth to a child, that is biologically. You can raise and take care of a child, and then you can adopt a child. Three things make you a parent. Number one, biology, which is the fact that you bore a child biologically. The second is that you raised and nurtured the child. And the third is that you adopted the child. So therefore, it means that the fact that you gave birth to a child does not make you a parent. The fact that you also raised and nurtured a child does not make you a parent. And the fact that you legally adopted a child does not totally, wholly make you a parent. Now, who is a parent? A parent is described as a person who acts in the best interest of the child. So also, the fact that you birth a child does not make that child your child, because we have the term bastard child, which in its originality meant an illegitimate child born by parents who are not married, but also a child that works against the culture of his home. When you abuse children, especially children that maybe he decides to steal, or children that do things, you say this is a bastard child because this is not the character of our family. We do not steal. So the fact that you gave birth to a child does not make that child your child as well. Now, let me go back to where I am coming from. When the child grows and leaves to form his own family, the father of the child becomes father-in-law to the spouse of the child, that is, to whom the child would marry, and the mother becomes mother-in-law also of the spouse of her child. Now, the word in-law means the person you are related to by marriage. The word in-law originally meant one within or restored to the protection and benefit of the law, which was the opposite of the word outlaw, which means a person who broke the law and lives separately from other people because they want to escape legal punishment. So the original meaning of in-law is one within your protection and benefit. So the first duty of an in-law is to protect, and the second duty is to benefit their children's spouses. So what does this mean? When you say mother-in-law, it means that the mother is no longer mother to her own child, but to the person her child marries. So this is the idea. If my son marries a woman and I become father-in-law, I am father-in-law to the wife my son marries, meaning my job is to protect the wife that he married and not my own son, and also to be of benefit to the wife that he married, not my own son. Now, the father of my son's wife now takes my own son as son-in-law, which means his own job is to protect my own son and to be of benefit to my own son. So where there is an issue, I am to defend my son's wife, and my son's wife's father is to defend my own son. Now, with these practical steps, makes it impossible for feud, fights to last, because you know your own family will protect your wife, and then your wife's family will protect the husband. This made sure that fights never last. Although I may scold my son privately, but publicly I will be on the side of my son's wife, except in cases of domestic violence and abuse, where it is clear that the wife either assaults verbally or physically. Then the roles will be reversed to the protection of my child against danger. So the original meaning of an in-law makes the spouse under your protection and benefit. You are meant to protect your children's husbands and wives, and you also must be a benefit to them. In-laws, that word later grew to describe any non-blood relative that the church forbade you from marrying if your spouse died. That was the Catholic Church. Now, against this backdrop, let me arrive at my destination. In the past 2 years, we did our usual research at the end of the year and found that it was 39% of failed marriages have been by parental interference, which means that the cause of breakdowns in marriage has been linked 39% to the activities of mothers and fathers-in-law. Now, mother-in-laws have 30% and have been responsible for more broken homes in the history of marriages than fathers-in-law. In fact, if the marriage was broken as a result of parental interference, it's almost always the mother-in-law. So therefore, I have mentioned, especially in the past 5 years, that there has been such an increase in the number of abducted children. That is, children taken by mother or father by force or suddenly without the consent of the partner. And when we go to investigate to look for the child, we will find out that the child is in the custody of the mother-in-law. Why should the mother-in-law be there? Because she is not the biological father or mother, but is now in custody, while father and mother are still alive. It is such an amazing thing to find that women are the causes of the problems for women. Now, what is our issue? The foundation of marriage is that, let me quote, Genesis 2:24 is what everybody quotes, that for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Now, there is a problem when a man is unable to leave his father or mother. That is, they are married but still connected in the sense that the decisions of the home are being determined by the family of the husband instead of the husband. Now, there is a reason why it is the man that should leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife. The function of a man is headship. In the beginning of the journey of the life of a man, he is to be trained by his father. The mother is traditionally not the person to train a child. The mother is to nurture a child. And at the age of 3, the child is handed over to the father for training. The father is supposed to train, advise in wisdom. And then by the time a child is now fit for marriage, the function of the father is no longer to advise him on the direction of the marriage. He ought to have been trained. It is not after marriage you now start training your child what to do in marriage. Now the child should be old enough to make decisions. So there is a problem when you get married to a man who is still absolutely connected to his father and mother in terms of decision making, that he is not able to take decisions by himself, but it is either his mom or father that decides. I hope we understand. Women are built with multiple connectors, meaning that a woman is not told to leave her family and cleave to her husband. It is always the man to leave his family. Why? Because the man is the head of the home, and women are practically born and trained to leave the house and cleave to their husbands. So therefore, a woman will leave the house, move to the man's house, bear the man's name, and her children will bear the man's name, which tells you that women were raised to live. But there is a problem when women refuse to live as well, which is supposed to be the natural order. You are raised, trained to be a house builder and to go and help a man build his own generation. But when you are married to a woman, like a man called me in I think it was 2022, he had been married. He was in Lagos, married to a woman who resides in the north, whether Kaduna or Sokoto. And ever since they married, the wife, 3 months after, still had not moved to his house, but was still in the father's house. I have 1 minute. So the problem was now the man had to be traveling down to the north to see his wife, and the family was begging the father to release the daughter. The daughter did not want to leave the father for some weird reason. So each time he would want to... Okay, let me leave at that.
Because we're going on a very short break, but we're still here on 99.3 Nigerian Info, and we're still talking about manipulation here with Barrister Olumide. We'll be back shortly after this break.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. I'm in love. Sonia tomato make you stand up. Is it to open? Is it to squeeze? Is it to scoop? And is it to stop? Dishes come alive with so much taste. Sonia tomato mix, of course. Sonia tomato mix, yes sir.
I did not even want to come out.
Okay, you have the entire bill. You have the entire money bill.
See me?
How do they chop?
How?
Everyone says I'm beautiful and bold. I say I'm fashionable, and to crown it up, very confident. And my secret is...
People say I'm good looking, funny, hardworking, and to crown it up, very confident.
See everybody there, nobody. I was looking at everybody. You people should book Uber for me, let me come to work. Nobody woke up. We slept at my pastor yesterday. Nobody.
My confidence. And the secret to my
People like
confidence
life.
is
People like
my
enjoyment.
Zobia perfume.
Absolutely. Wazobia perfume gives the authenticity and long-lasting fragrance all day. That's my secret confidence.
Zobia perfume is available in body spray.
Also available in supermarkets and markets near you.
You can also get it on Jumia.
Wazobia perfume, the correct scent.
It is okay to make fun about it. Let's have a talk. Colgate makes your teeth so strong, so cover your mouth.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste it and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Very.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo 3-in-1, milky and creamy for you. It's so milky. I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
New Milo 3-in-1, milky
According
and
to
creamy. It's
you're
truly
very
Milo.
correct with
It
what you
contains
just
calcium to help your jab win every
the
day.
way the
Milo,
state country is
energy
right
to go
now.
further.
We'll not be able to, there's no
Ladies
control.
and gentlemen,
No,
it still
Lagos, there
is
has
the
been no-
season of
It's because
giving.
of that
So
law
says
that you are
one
saying.
No, people are protesting all
play.ng.
over the place.
That is why they
They are
want
protesting in
to
the Kenya, they are protesting in Odessa, they are
Because
protesting.
if they had allowed them
So, oh,
Yes, if
not
you want
stay
our
in
money,
one
they are not
or
in
you
one
go to
place in
websites at
Lagos.
www.
They are everywhere.
They are already at Ojota.
No, they are in Ireland.
.ng. Once you get there, select Nigeria.
The island was the one they quelled.
Just
They
like
even
that,
arrested
your
people that
ticket will be in it.
That one
Of
that they started.
course, you have
That's
to
the
commit
one.
the paltry
The
sum
one.
of
Told it.
500
They
naira
arrested people.
to each
Lagos
ticket.
Island, they
Now you
started
can play as
moving
many
from
times
Lagos
as possible
Island.
to give
My
yourself
friend
a
has a
bigger
shop, they
chance
had to
of winning.
quickly
And remember that your
lock
chances
down
of
because
winning
they
are
were
pretty much the
expecting
same
area
whether
boys
you
to
play
come and fight
on one
them.
play or
Yeah, fight them.
or you use the code
They moved
star
on.
347 star
To where?
880
They,
star
They
I
moved
don't
from-
know, they moved from Lagos Island,
Now,
I think,
remember
across
that at
towards
the
that
end of the
zone.
week there's
Are you
going
for
to be
Yes.
a 500,000 naira jackpot.
I
I
was at
know
Ojota
it's
yesterday.
mind blowing. You
And
can't
then
beat that. You definitely
the
can't beat
Kenya,
that.
yes,
So
allows
your qualifying for that is
Allows
dependent
that,
on you playing the
Ah,
game during
don't you
the
see
week. What am I
Ikeja
trying to say?
allows
I am
that?
saying when you dial star
Ikeja must always happen.
from your phone or go to
Ikeja
website
must always forget anything that government it will always
Governor,
happen.
you automatically
Allows her must always
see,
happen.
see all those things happening in Kano.
right.
It's good. Why?
That said,
I
ladies
said,
and gentlemen,
when we
play
started
responsibly.
here, I said,
Make sure you are
outside
playing
never
with
became
only what
common.
you can afford. And one
Can you imagine somebody climbing traffic lights? It's because of the uneducation. They make sure those two people are uneducated, and that is what they will get. Uneducated protest. They were removing
Traffic, as in,
no
99.3 Nigeria
across his
Info, your
border.
number one
Breaking
station
it
for
to remove
talk.
iron.
Let's talk.
Lagos, we're back here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. And yes, you're listening to Relationship 360. And today we're talking about manipulation here with Barrister Olumide. Barrister,
Thank you very much. Now, the problem here that we have is that parental influence, interference, has led to about 39% of failed marriages. Not because the husband has a problem with the wife or the wife has a problem with the husband, but that the mother-in-law has a problem with something or the father-in-law has a problem with something. The beginning of a lot of people's problem was when somebody's mother-in-law came for Omugwo. And that was where problems started. They don't like the way this person cooks. You don't know how to cook for their son, or their daughter is doing too much work, or something always usually happens in that Omugwo. And it will get to a point in time where people will start telling in-laws that, you people should just stay, don't worry, we'll hire a nanny. Because the interference, what the son is okay with. If he is not complaining, nobody should complain. If the wife is not complaining, nobody should complain. But I would appeal to mothers-in-law to stay away from their children's marriages. Do not, unless you see domestic violence or abuse. It's not that she didn't kneel down and touch the ground, or she looks somehow, or he doesn't wake up early. It is not your problem. I remember when I was about to marry my wife, during, not even before we married, she would come and see me sleeping in the afternoon. And she would wonder that this kind of man that is sleeping in the afternoon, does he have work? Does he, that bothered her at times because I would be so tired and I would just sleep. Now, today, she's the one begging me to sleep because both afternoon and night I am up. And when she sees you don't sleep, she would try to. The other time she gave me something to sleep, and I said, "Madam, you were saying that this man that is sleeping in the afternoon. Be careful what you wish for. Now, work is so much that I don't really sleep. 3-4 hours I'm up. And that is the problem now. From someone that did not sleep to someone that was sleeping in the afternoon, now to somebody that doesn't sleep at all. So imagine an in-law now picking it up that man, he used to sleep in the afternoon. She married him like that. And he's providing, he's providing for her. She's not come. Then leave them alone. The problem we have now is this. Listen, if you want to marry somebody and you see that the person's parents don't like you, or the mother-in-law especially does not like you, don't even bother. Especially when that person you see is under the control of the mother-in-law. The mother-in-law has bragging rights over the child, either the daughter or the son. Don't even bother yourself, because your marriage already has a 39% probability of failure before it even started. The moment that the mother-in-law especially has, let me break it down, 30% is for mother-in-laws, 9% is for father-in-laws. So when the mother-in-law doesn't like you and she has control over her son or daughter, your marriage is already 30% short of failure. If the father-in-law does not like you, or the father-in-law is whatever he says that the son does, 9%, let's just say 10%, your marriage is already minus 10. And that is a one thing that I tell people, but that religion, that don't worry, I will show them that I'm a good girl or that I'm a good boy. I will pray, God will change their hearts. Listen, their hearts has no bearing, has no importance to God. It is salvation that Christ came to die for, not the heart of your mother-in-law or the father-in-law. That you now turn to prayer point, and that is the problem. You want to get married, and already the in-laws are already a prayer point. That shows you, number one, a red flag. Especially if the mother-in-law doesn't like you, you already have a 30% chance of failure, and the marriage usually does not get past 4 years. By the second anniversary of that marriage, your endurance trek begins. Some will tell you, take it. Some will tell you, but you already knew that the mother-in-law did not like you. She's already complaining. You cook, she's always correcting you, and do this. This is how my son, there was a time one would, whenever she goes to the house, the mother-in-law is the one that cooks for the child, says, you don't know how to cook for my son. And that is a problem. And also for the women as well. I don't think the man is good enough for you. Let it be first on domestic violence and abuse. Then second, except the man is lazy and does not provide. He's lazy. But if he's working, you see that this man is in time. What I could afford when I got married is totally different from what I can afford now. You understand? Things build, except the man is lazy or stingy. And at times, you just borrow them the wisdom. So mothers-in-law, and now this is the problem. These same parents are usually responsible for the continuous stay of their children in abuse. A lot of times, it is not what is in the best interest of the child that the parents are after, but what is in the best interest of culture and religion. Culture. Their child must marry before a certain age. You put them in competition because your neighbor's child married at 20, in fact, married at 16, self. You too, your child must marry very early. Because of what? Your child is in abuse. No, my society. She can't come back home. What will I tell my society? What will I tell the church? You put the church and culture above the life of the child that you birth, then you are not fit to be called parents. Now listen to me. There is a blackmail that parents do, especially mothers-in-law who will grab onto their breast and tell you, except you did not suck of this breast. Who would put themselves naked and say, except you did not come out of my ovaries. And then they begin to try to control you in what you know deep inside your heart is not what you want. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, you end up being the ones to suffer the consequences of their decisions. A lot of them, what was known or popular in their time is different from today. Today's problem is totally different from yesterday's problem and more sophisticated than what they had to go through in their own times. I can't imagine most of the people that remained in domestic violence and abuse, a lot of them was because their parents did not support that they leave an abusive marriage. So at the end of the day, they left in a casket. They left dead. A lady called me now. I'm even going to that one. I'm going to bring them here. I gave them that condition. The woman is going to repeat what she told me herself, by herself, right here on the station. So because one or two things, I have decided that one Saturday every month will be a live discussion Saturday, where I will bring them here and they themselves will tell you with their own mouth what their eyes saw. The woman told me that her daughter remained in an abusive marriage. Now she has a mental disorder. She started lactating when she is not pregnant. In fact, she has given birth to her children. When they took her to the hospital, the doctor looked at her and said, stress, very serious emotional trauma has altered the composition of her biology. We had another one that started developing breast lumps. But the moment she separated and she was okay, the breast lumps began to go down by themselves. They were inoperable because it was not like breast lumps. It was a reaction. We have some things called psychosomatic illnesses. That is an illness of the mind that is now affecting the body. It is not an illness of the body, but it is an illness of the mind that has now started affecting the body. Prolonged sorrow is what you call depression. And parents have a way of supervising the afflictions of their children, trying to tell them that, hey, the suffering is not enough, that go back and let us do this. I cannot imagine how a father would watch his daughter or son being abused, being beaten, being battered, being bruised, and not do something. The only thing that can make a parent watch the suffering of his child is culture and religion. Those are the only things that alter the course of nature. No animal in the animal kingdom will watch its young being battered up. No animal. A chicken will attack you. A lizard has attacked me before because I didn't know I was getting close to where it laid the eggs. Every animal in nature, even animals that are gentle, that are domestic animals, will attack you if you come near their children. They are young. It is only human beings that can watch their children in afflictions and then give themselves a reason. She's married, and he's her husband. Her husband or the wife, does that make them open to suffering because they married somebody that is from another family that was not raised well by his parents or her parents? Because we know that men who beat their wives, usually by research, it is conclusive evidence and fact that men that beat their wives are men that grew up watching their own mothers being beaten by their father, an intimate partner, or a family member. When you raise children in abuse, they grow up to become abusive. So you have 3 children. At least 1 or 2 of them will become how they grew up. That is why it is very important to always take children from abusive homes. In America, that is a policy. In Europe, in the UK, the moment they find that you are abusive, there's domestic violence and abuse, the state automatically takes the children away. Why? Because children are the primary victims of domestic violence and abuse. Now, my conclusion, yes, the Bible tells you to honor your father and mother that your days may be long. But when you look at Proverbs 4:11, Proverbs 4:10 tells you to receive the things of your father. Hear, my son, and receive my sayings, which tells you that it is the father's job to always give instruction, training the child. But now 4:11 tells you, I have taught you in the ways of wisdom, and I have led you in right paths, which means that your training for a child must be in the ways of wisdom, not of culture or religion. It must be wisdom. And a child has the right, according to this, to reject anything that is not of wisdom, because it tells you that wisdom is profitable to direct. Wisdom is for direction. You cannot, well, a fool at 40, you have children and be giving them foolish instructions. A child can refuse, reject a foolish choice, a foolish command, a foolish or manipulative command, because it is only there, Proverbs 4:11. It is only, I have taught you in the ways of wisdom and led you in the right paths. So hold firm instruction and don't let go. Keep her, for she is your life. It tells you that the instructions of a wise father is length of days to the children. The children will live long because the father has taught them how to live from his own mistakes and from his experience and from what he has seen. Social manipulation, that of the parents. The parents, especially the mother-in-law, has been responsible for more failed marriages than any other factor in the areas of influence in marriage. Secondly, beware of homes that the parents don't like you. Don't go and dance into homes that you are not welcome. Don't dance into homes that the family don't like you, the mother-in-law don't like you. Once you see it, you tell them, especially if the man is someone who is controlled by family. You see men who do not have the capacity to reason, to think by themselves. So you see women who do not have the capacity to think by themselves. They must call their brother, they must call their family. It must be a family decision. Then you shall not go. Except the man, someone like me, who you know, will decide what happens in his home, will establish his own tradition based on what he thinks is right in his home. It is funny when you are wiser than the people that are advising you, where you are more exposed, educated, where you have more information than the people you are taking advice from, which is an anomaly, which is against the pattern. How can you be asking from someone you know more than? Or you go to people that know nothing but tradition or culture to solve a problem. Or you go to people that know nothing than the King James Bible to solve a problem. Or the Quran. Wisdom. Follow after someone who has been wise. Listen, the rush for marriage. People thinking they are getting too old. I said I got married at 42. My wife was 41. It is not written on my CV. It is not written on my forehead. If you don't find, stay. Any family member that begins to remind you of your age is an enemy. It is important that you work and you find a place of your own where people will not be, as you are entering, good morning, how are you? So you meet anybody today. They keep putting it in you that you are old. And that is what has driven some people into the arms of strangers just to escape from home. You have to work, woman, you have to work, man, so that you go and you are blessed. You see, some of you don't know what you have when you have good families, when you have a good father, when you have a good mother, where your home is a refuge. You don't know what God has done for you. You don't know what God has done for you when your father is honorable, when your mother is empathetic, when your mother has the heart of a mother. You don't know what God has done for you. Beware of this manipulation called parents, especially mothers-in-law. Avoid men that are tied to the strings and the aprons of their home. Avoid women who are not able to live and cleave. That is the manipulation called parents. Let me stop here.
Wow, I got to today. But honestly, I was really, really concerned earlier when you started the conversation and you started focusing on mothers-in-law. I don't know. It's already a thing that there is some form of a rivalry between, especially mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law. And I do not honestly know where that is. Like literally, when people see a woman or a bride post pictures and beautiful pictures of her mother-in-law praising her and her mother-in-law is accepting her, it's usually a viral post. It's usually a trend.
It's something
because
people. I heard a woman that said that she cannot marry someone whose mother-in-law is still alive.
Yes, I heard something
Because
like that too.
what they have seen, that is how bad it is. Now people praying that, and they also have a mother. Because of what the influence, the power of that position can be. The only thing here is that their son or their daughter are the only ones that can aid that influence. You can't come to my house and then start. You can't, because my wife cooks like, I mean, that one. There's nothing you can complain. But should you complain, I would remind you, there was someone that told me one time that the dress, I like when my wife has this little slight gold tint at the tip of her hair. That is at the, she looks. So one day I told her to do, and they said, in church, they don't. I said, if anybody asks you, tell them your husband paid for this.
Yeah.
Someone was telling me, that dress, wasn't it too revealing? I said, I bought it. So, and I'm looking at you, they're not saying, they're fine, it's fine. I shut it down. And from that day, that person who said that has little access to me. Do you understand? What is your own? That's what I like.
Exactly.
Go and tell your own wife to dye her hair black. Leave my own. Is how I want it.
Now, the way it runs for the man and his mom, does it also happen the same way for a woman
and the father?
And not a woman and a father, woman and a mom, because there are also some women that their mom have played very great influence on their life.
Oh, yes.
So as a man that wants to be with a woman, should you also watch out for that?
Oh, yes. You have to. It's on both sides. You watch out for people who are under the control and influence of their family. It shows you that they are not under the control of their senses. Even though some people, it was 2 years ago, a man came to me. 5 months after they got married, the father-in-law came to pack the daughter's load, that he wants the daughter to marry a banker. There was no fight. That my daughter and a banker, I won't make him marry. Apparently, maybe they had an offer or something. 5 months into the marriage, the father-in-law was the one that came to pack. He said, a banker, I want to make my daughter marry. And the daughter followed him. The man was just in shock that is it a prank? As in, I paid the bride price. I came, I said, God saved you. Should be 6 months. Imagine after like 4 years, they now come to this one. The craze, everything quickly happened. So let's thank God, start all over again.
Because I know women who their father play very great role. Let's go to the father side now. Who their father play very great role in their life, and they are very successful because they follow in the footsteps of their father. They follow the advice of their father. So their father literally play a very huge role in their life. So how can people like this who are listening on the program, be able to draw a balance between their father influencing their relationship?
The issue is this: when your child is married.
Before marriage,
you ought to have trained. It's not during marriage that you now be controlling them. No, your child should know when I started dating, people were saying, lepa is okay. And then I went to date a lepa, but there was a problem. She was saying I wasn't very romantic. But then I started finding her friend who had a little more flesh. I was always commenting that this girl is, before I knew what I liked, that I wasn't really that very, and some men, they love it, lepa, but that's not my spec. It was after I dated the leper that I now found out that. So you allow them go and discover what they like. You will find someone married to a leper cheating with someone who is not a leper. You will find someone married to someone who is big and then cheating with a leper. It's like people don't know what they want. You need to allow them know what they want so that their marriages will last. Everybody has a spec. Let that one that the Lord told me that there must be a spec, because I cannot like leper now, and the Lord will give me, according to, there was a person who called me, the father-in-law was the one that said God told him that they should marry on so dates. They were still dating. The father-in-law had received prophecy of their wedding date, and the man followed. They had only started dating for 3 months, and the man said God told him that their introduction must be by March, and that their wedding will be in May. They had just started dating. So the man too, they took him to the church and they started praying. The man too, the prophecy. The father-in-law was the one. Today, the man can no longer cope. What started with prophecy would need prophecy to sustain it.
Strong statement.
Yes, what you start with. That is why your foundation must be built on. Let us go to the callers.
Yeah, we're going to take your calls very soon, but we have a break coming up, and once we are back from that break, we will be taking all your calls and your messages. Numbers to call: 0201 277 0993. For the mail, 0201 277 0993. Female only line, 0201 465 7190. Again, 0201 465 7190. And you can also send us a message on WhatsApp, 080 959 75805. Lagos will be back shortly.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
Get ready for the ultimate showdown of intellect and persuasion. The Adbect to Defend National Debate Tournament kicks off on the 12th of August, 2024.
What prophecy?
Yes.
How did you say it again? That thing was. I like that. I like that statement. What type of prophecy we need to be sustained by? Sustain it. So if your father plays an impactful role in your wedding, it means to an extent that he will have to continue on that trend, or he has to be involved.
The issue is that your father is not fighting with you for attention or affection. You have to know your role. I am a father, I'm a coach. I'm not a lover. So you don't be a coach and a lover. You are a coach. Your daughter loves you. Like, we are not sharing attention. I see my son-in-law, he will come and concentrate. Daddy, hey, how are you? Yeah, so daddy, and for his benefit, you say, Daddy, in fact, things are hard. You say, as you collect from your papa, you won't collect. I'm his father now. I'm his father-in-law.
The first thing I always do is, when I tend to meet people, right, is first of all, just like what you said, it's going to meet their parents, it's going to understand their parents, understand their family, understand how they receive me. Because I've always had this mindset that I'm not just marrying one person.
I want to know how
the family, how they
take
really
you.
Take me.
Yes.
Take me.
Yes.
You see that This time I told you that I went to those states. I'm going to spend 3 days. I have to do it.
Oh yeah, you this.
I have to do that thing though.
Now
If you see the support my father gave me for that stuff, you won't believe it. That's one thing I love about my father. He let me explore. Go and check. Go and check. If the family is okay, they respect you, they accept you. Let's see. Then when I saw the family, everything was okay. Then I came back and looked at the woman. Does this woman accept me? Hey God. But this is a very, very serious. Very serious. Barrister, you are saying you this man. Hey. So I think I'm that kind of a person. I'm a lover person. If I love is 100%, I go on all in. But the thing is it's always very how do I put this? It's risky. It's risky. Because it's just like when you have made a statement that, oh, this is where I want to be, or this is what I want to do, and you just go for it 100%. So literally anything that comes in, I'll start tolerating. I'll start trying to be patient. You see one inside, you say, let it be. That's the only downside of that's the only downside of this personality. Say, let me wait a bit. Let me wait a bit. You see the sign, you say, let me wait. Let me just give another second chance. Second chance to turn to third, fourth, fifth, sixth. That's the thing I've changed now. That's the thing I'm working on. Immediately you give me one, I tell you bye. Move on. Move on immediately. No.
For each course, covering both online learning and 3-day physical training. What are you waiting for? Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to kickstart your career in the creative industry. Visit www.wazobiacademy.com/Spark 3.0 to register or send a WhatsApp message to 0908-826-5038 or call 0911-111-1221. Terms and conditions apply. Wazobia Academy. Learn and lead. 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Lagos, we're ready for your calls. We're ready for your messages. You're still here on Relationship 360 here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. My name is Emmanuel Onka and I have Barrister Olumide here with me in the studio. Remember the numbers to call 0201-277-0993, 0201-277-0993. Female only line 0201-465-7190, 0201-465-7190. And you can also send us a message on WhatsApp 080-959-75805, 080-959-75805. What are your thoughts on manipulation and the role of parents in their children's marriages and relationship? Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Please turn down the volume of your radio. Hello. Hi, good morning. Please, I'm still hearing your radio in the background. Please, when you call us, please just turn down the volume of your radio almost immediately. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please turn down the volume of your radio.
Please,
okay.
Let's.
Okay, Gloria, go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning. I'm calling from Liverpool.
All right, Gloria. Good morning.
Yeah, because I really just want to appreciate Barrister Olumide and the program and the panel. So, thank you very much. Your program is really encouraging me, and I'm learning a lot out of it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for listening.
And I keep on trying. First time of getting you online, I really appreciate it.
Thank God. That's what we want. Our new first timers. Thank you. God bless you.
Well, this program, especially this one of today, it really affected me when I got married.
Oh.
Manipulation, So when I got married to my father-in-law and my sister and my own sister, so they were just working. So a woman just approached my father-in-law and just asked, why your sister-in-law is wearing trousers? Are you not seeing her? We're just talking, but if I
Thank you. Please help me buy one bottle
Cold.
of beer. Cold beer. For
Cold one.
Very
Cold
cold one.
one.
Oh God, your 1 minute is up. This is fantastic.
Well, thank you very much for sharing this.
Oh.
That's what stopped that woman from saying anything for that concerned our family.
Here you see, women are usually women's problems.
And I've had a very good family. You know, my father-in-law, my mother, they're very nice. Even my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, they're all nice. You don't listen what people are saying outside. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
That
so
is the
much.
success of your marriage. The
Exactly.
in-laws. Thank you very much.
That was very inspirational.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning. Hi, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I saw that comment.
What happened now?
She said good morning. I knew she was going to call.
Hello.
Let's move.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Pastor Ladipo. Pastor Ladipo. Okay, let me allow you speak first before I say my own.
Okay. Barrister, you see, the point you are making this morning is clear. A lot of marriages today are marriages that have been influenced, seriously influenced. And there is a striking word you use, and that word was people intend to give you their choice. I think that is the major challenge some of us are facing today. I can't go further than that. Thank you for this enlightenment.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Pastor
much.
Ladipo, thank you. We were together, was it day before yesterday or 2 days ago?
Huh?
We were together how many days ago?
We were together on Wednesday.
And your eyes saw some.
Barrister, I want to salute your courage. I said to somebody that there is one thing I just learned instantly from you. You have to deal with emotional issues. You must not be emotional. Otherwise, you need to get one. Thank you for your courage.
So now, as a pastor, what you saw, has it changed some of your perceptions? If somebody comes to you with that on that particular subject, I'm going to talk about it now. But has it changed you?
Yes, I said, you didn't get what I said. In your doggedness, like when you called me outside and said, you see what I'm saying? Immediately, like my prayer went into factory reset.
Thank you, sir.
I'm telling you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor Ladipo. We have messages here, but let me take the numbers again. Obviously, some people say it's very fast, so let me take it very slowly for you. For the mail only line, 02 01 277 0993. Female only line, 02 01 465 7190 is the request of the callers. Let's go back. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, ma.
Mr. Emma, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Gladys.
Gladys, welcome.
Thank you, Barrister. Well done.
Thank you, ma.
It's always a good thing for me to wake up and listen to you. I have not missed your program for like 3 good years.
Whoa, Madam Gladys.
For 3 years, yes, I've gone just like 3 times.
It
So
will
I
be very
enjoy
important.
so that I gain more.
Thank you very
But
much.
my joy is that people that are not yet married and are listening to you, they have so much to learn so that they will not make mistakes in marriage. That's my joy. I try as much as I can to connect these single ladies, single girls, to make sure they listen to your program. I told them that you have nothing to lose when you gain more when you listen. Because once you follow Barrister, you will be very happy.
Thank
So
you.
you are educating us every day. And my
Thank you.
joy is even in my own marriage. Number one, I'm married to my husband is an angel. That's what I call him. He's just an angel.